USAID. Let's take a look at this, guys. USAID, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of that? Look at that video. Isn't that beautiful? The letters are coming right down at 1300 Pennsylvania Avenue, U.S. Agency for International Development. They are just doing away with this thing. They're doing away with this thing in like real time. And Rob, I mean, this was just incredible, right? Like Donald Trump's like, hey, it's over. And before they even had a chance to get their breath, it was happening.
Yeah, it's such a big story, and I think it's so revealing to everyone in the public just the ways that this organization, this agency, was spending money in just the most obscure and sort of nonsensical, projects, and it's really shedding light on how things work and have been working in government, and kind of the way money circulates.
Gross over like spending, the insanity of it all, that they want to just keep going and going and going. Like it's unbelievable to me. It actually makes me really, really angry given what we have learned. And we can go through the list, but I'm sorry, however much for trans comics in Peru and $2 million for trans surgeries in Guatemala and the trans opera in Colombia. I'm like, what is going on with the trans stuff? Like, you guys have an agenda. I know you have a view on that. We'll get to it in a second. But first, let the viewers just partake in the insanity of it all. On Friday afternoon, Maxine Waters, this is not actually the USAID building. This is Department of Education, because that's another thing that Donald Trump wants to just do away with. Linda McMahon, she's being told, hey, Linda, you know what? If you're successful at your gig, you're going to just get rid of the Department of Education. We're going to send it back to the states, which is where it belongs. It didn't ever have a federal position until Jimmy Carter in the 1970s. So he wants to get rid of it. And Maxine Waters is like, no. So she marches down there with a few of her pals in tow. And this is what happened. Okay. And I just think, Rob, this security guard deserves like a gold medal, gold star, or, as somebody said, he's never going to have to buy a beer again, because I think that he earned his stripes, if you would. Take a peek. Okay, we're going to turn up the volume here, because this is unbelievable. I want you to fully appreciate it.
Tell us your name.
Here we go.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Showed you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I really think that Maxine should probably retire sooner rather than later. I think that this was a good example of, sort of, and you see her pal there. I couldn't even tell who that was, trying to come up alongside her, who can, sort of just hobbling along. It's like, all right, you know what? We need some fresh blood in there. They're out there spending our money. And then they're mad because they want an appointment, Rob, with Linda McMahon that they didn't have. Okay, so you can't just show up at a building and say, "Hey, I want to go see Linda." Like, that's not how it works. And so the security guard was told to lock the doors and protect everyone inside. They didn't have an appointment that was scheduled, and they weren't going to be let in. And they just went kind of bonkers on it. Again, it's exposing so much, right? Like, we're learning, wow, like our government was one big giant boondoggle, USAID, part of that. And I guess what's really terrifying, and we can separate Department of Education from USAID, what's really terrifying is that there's all this money, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars that was getting spent, 70 billion, I believe, for USAID just in 2023 alone. And it's effectively for liberal causes and just Democrat sort of, pet projects. And I think Americans are like, wow. So like, we'll see what happens with all of this. It's going to get fought out in the courts, but just learning, I think the sheer volume of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars going to a trans opera in Colombia or trans comic books in Peru, like, that's kind of unsettling for people.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's real money. It's like $1 billion a week that USAID is funneling out, and I think these are clearly ideologically infused projects that when people think about the U.S. helping starving people in the world or people in desperate need, okay, that kind of makes sense. We could spare some money to prevent people from dying in crises, but this is far from that kind of aid. This is to push ideological agendas in far-flung regions of the world. And meanwhile, where are the resources here at home for people who are victims of crises like in North Carolina or in California? So I think, yeah, to your point, it's just the revelation of exactly how this money's getting spent and the way it's kind of enriching people who are close to the decision makers. I mean, in some cases, even NGOs that are funded by Soros are, also recipients of this these USAID funds.
Here's a question. Like, what is the whole, like, okay, we have to have trans operas in Colombia and, there's going to be millions of dollars for DEI in Serbia. I'm like, DEI in Serbia? Like, I didn't realize there was, whatever. What is this about, really? Is this, we've got a complex in academia of all of these people were graduating, they have no jobs to go to, and so we're going to like employ them in NGOs all over the world and kind of have the machine keep milking itself, all while hopefully, putting forward our viewpoint on things out there in front of the whole world. I mean, I'm just trying to understand it because, I don't understand how the $2 million for trans surgeries in Guatemala advances U.S. interests. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, we've had the military industrial complex, and now it's like the gender studies industrial complex. Creating all these jobs out of thin air for people who believe in these concepts and want to teach them to other people around the world. And the risk with it, or there's a lot of risk with it, but it's like we're really kind of pushing edgy, progressive, ideas in parts of the world that might be quite traditional and not necessarily receptive to it. So it really smacks of, kind of arrogance on our side that we're, promoting these cultural initiatives. When, what business do we have doing that in these countries?
And they're so upset, right, that we're going to expose this and that we are exposing this.